Hi there, welcome to the Luminous Fiber Arts Flosstube channel. I am Misty Purcell. I'm excited to be here with you today to talk to you about some new designs. I've got a Christmas mystery stitch along announcement of a new design that's going to be available for pre-order as of now. I've got new Halloween releases to talk about. I'm going to share a floss conversion with you, a list of flosses, a document basically, and let you know what I've been up to lately, including some of my personal stitching. So I hope that you will enjoy hanging out with me today and seeing what I've been up to and what is new. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this year's Christmas Mystery Stitch Along. Last year was my first year hosting a Christmas stitch along in the lead up to the holidays. Usually I've done them in the summer only. And it was just such a fun time for people that I thought, oh, I've got to do it again this year. And I decided that this year it would be a new design in the Gathering series. I know how much you love the Gathering series. And so this year's Mystery Stitch Along design is, drumroll, Gathering Holly. So it's super cute. I think you're gonna love it. It fits in perfectly with all the other Gathering designs. If you've not seen the Gathering series before, I will pop in a little photo for you so you can see what they look like. And so the Gathering series has 7 designs. This will be number 8, and it's going to be stitched in one color, but you could do 2. The design is the same size as all of the other designs in the Gathering series, and it will be available to pre-order for the Mystery Stitch along with the supplies to stitch it. This particular design, I did not include any buttons, but normally I have included buttons, so you can add some in if you want to or leave them off. It's up to you. If you've already been stitching the Gathering series on a particular fabric and you want to keep using that, you totally can. I did choose a new fabric for my model. And there are 2 models because there are 2 colors. So let's talk about that. So first, the fabric is one more reproduction from Be Stitch Me. And I have this available to pre-order on my website. And I used 32 count linen, but I have available 36 count linen, 16 and 18 count Aida, 28 and 32 count Lugana. So you can pick the base and count that you would like and pre-order that. And it is a fat quarter, so you can get a fat quarter and stitch several of the Gathering designs or something else on this fabric. It's just beautiful. You can see it's a really nice color. So that's available to pre-order along with the PDF pattern. The mystery will be in 2 parts, so there will be just 2 clues this year. And you'll get half of the pattern in clue 1 and the other half of the pattern, it kind of goes on a diagonal the way I grouped it. The other half of the pattern will be clue 2, and the stitch along dates will be December 1st and 8th. And so you're pre-ordering the supplies and pattern now to have them ready in time for the stitch along in December. So the colors for the floss are Tulip if you want to stitch. If you think Gathering Holly should be all red, you can stitch it in Tulip, Belsois Tulip. If you think Gathering Holly should be all green, you can stitch it in Belsois Spruced. Or you can decide that it should be both and you can stitch them together. I did not do that. The model is stitched in one color, just green, one color, just red, so I have 2 models. But if you want to creatively combine and decide what should be red and green, you can certainly do that. And I wanted to show you that there can be some variation. Sometimes Tulip, I didn't grab another skein of Tulip, but sometimes Tulip can have a much darker red in it. So your skein that you receive, if you pre-order, it might be a little bit more variegated than this particular skein is. And also, this is just the nature of hand-dyed items. So you can see I've got 2 different skeins of spruced here. One is a yellower green and one is a bluer green. So that's just the reality of dye lots. They both look great. They're both gonna look very nice with the rayon ribbon trim. The model was stitched with a little bit more of a yellower green, but I also think this will look great. If you're looking for the DMC conversion, that's gonna be in the download that you get when you pre-order, but I'm gonna recommend 816 for the red. For the green, to match what I used, I would say 367, But to match this more bluey green, and if that's something you would prefer to do, I would say 501, DMC 501 is a good match for this. And when I'm choosing these particular colors, I'm kind of trying to go with what is in between, you know, between the darkest and the lightest, what's kind of in between that, and that's the color I'm recommending. That's just the best I can come up with as a way to do that. So that's what I did with the red as well, is I just try to think like, how does this look? It's pretty close. There's nothing that's perfect. So this is as close as I feel I can get. You only need, if you're stitching on 16, 32 count or higher count, you're only going to need one skein of the belle soie. If you're stitching on something like a 14 or 28 count, you should probably get 2 skeins. And if you do DMC or an over-dyed cotton, you might need more floss, because the belle soie silk is 12 strands, this 5 yards. So it's basically double the amount that's in a cotton skein. But if you've not tried the silk, it's so, I wish you could touch this. It's so smooth and soft. So if you've not stitched with silk yet, this is a great project. If you've not done a one color stitch before, again, a great relaxing project. Nice way to ease yourself into the holidays and make your holidays more merry and chill with a fun and simple project. Okay, let's look at so the floss is available to pre-order on my website, and then let's look at the trims. So I used Sizzle, Lady Dot Create Sizzle, and Sequoia was the other color. So you can see that this works quite nicely with the bluer skein too. So I used it with the yellower skein and it looked great, but it would look very nice also with the bluer skein. So you don't need to worry about it matching. It's going to be fine. So I have both of those available to pre-order on my website. So you can pre-order the PDF, and what you would get then when you purchase the pre-order is you'll immediately get a welcome message that you can download, and that will give you the floss information, the dimensions, the fabric, like the model information that you would need to know in advance to prepare for the stitch along. And then when the stitch along starts, Clue 1 would release on December 1st. You'll get a notification. New downloads are available for your order. And then you go and you download Clue 1, and then the next week the same thing will happen and you will download Clue 2. If you run into any problems, contact me. I've also got like a little troubleshooting list I give you in the welcome email so that you know what to do. And I'll also send out one like just reminder email before the stitch along starts, that, you know, the clues are coming, here's what to watch for, here's what to do if you don't get your clue. So you'll be covered, don't worry, you'll get your pattern if you ever run into problems, but we really don't run into them that often. So fabric is available to pre-order as well, so you can just do the pattern if you want. If you want to get the fabric to pre-order, you can do that in the different counts and bases. The floss is available. You would just order an individual skein, or if you need 2, you can do that. And then the trim. So everything is a la carte. You can get just what you need. The pre-orders are only open for 1 week. So they are open from now, September 5th through September 12th. That's the following Friday. And then I'll close pre-orders Saturday morning when I wake up. And the reason is I need to get the information to the dyers so they have time to get everything dyed for you. So in order to give them enough time to get everything to us, I can only leave the pre-orders open for a week, and then I do need to cut it off. So if you're considering joining, just join. It'll be fun. Even if you can't stitch it like right when everyone else does, you'll have the pattern for when you have time, and it's going to be a really fun stitch. I think you're really going to like it. Now, I want to mention one thing, that there are some back stitches and long stitches, and what you'll find is that there are a small number of them that are going to split stitches if you're stitching on Aida. And what I would recommend that you do is just grab a sharper tapestry needle to stab the center of the fabric, and then put your stitch in with your regular tapestry needle, unless your regular tapestry needle is already sharp. If you use like the pony needles, those are a sharper tapestry needle, and you probably wouldn't even need to switch needles then. You could just use that to kind of poke it and then go right through. But I would recommend that you do that. There aren't a ton of spots, but there's like a few snowflakes and one other item where there's going to be some stitches that split, not a ton, but just some. So I just want to let you know, if you're an Aida stitcher, to be aware of that, and that there just in general is some back stitching and long stitching, but not more than what I would normally do in a design. It's so cute. I think you're really gonna love it, and I think it's gonna be a super fun stitch along. So I hope that you will join us in the fun. Again, the dates for the actual stitch along starting are it's starting December 1st, and then the second clue will come out December 8th, and then you can carry on at your own pace, but it'll just be a couple of weeks of stitching along and having fun, and you're free to do what you want. So work at whatever pace you want, start it whenever you want, but it'll be available starting December 1st. The SAL itself, pre-orders are available now. For the pattern pre-orders, I wanted to mention that because we have many international friends here, unfortunately I cannot sell to Northern Ireland and the EU. That is because of the general product safety regulations, the GPSR rules. I don't have a representative in the EU to prove that my patterns are safe, and the cost of that at this time is more than what my business can manage. So I'm sorry that I cannot offer that there. If you live in the UK, outside of that though, you are able to participate in the stitch along because of GPSR does not apply to where you live. And in that case, please reach out to me and I will set up a custom listing for you on Etsy so that it can collect the VAT that's necessary, and Etsy will collect and remit that for me on my behalf. So if you would like to join in and you live in the UK, you can just send me an email, misty@luminousfiberarts.com, and I will set you up a listing, but please make sure you contact me during the pre-order window, so between September 5th and September 12th. So I've also got 2 new Halloween releases that have come out recently that I wanted to share with you. And if you're new here, Halloween is my favorite thing to design for and decorate for, honestly. I also love Christmas, but for some reason Halloween just has a very special place in my heart. So let's talk about my Halloween designs. First up, we have Black Cat Appreciation Society, which is just adorable. So I think black cats are underappreciated. And so this black cat has a group of friends who really appreciate her. And they're going for a ride on her broom with her on Halloween night. So we've got an adorable little ghost, and we've got a raven, of course the black cat, and a cute little jack-o'-lantern, and then the moon is also hanging out over there keeping an eye on things. So this is a super cute design. I think there's like a lot of ways that you could display this. I mean, you could do what I did with a frame or some kind of flat finish. I think it would make a great like throw pillow if you wanted to put something like this on your couch for Halloween, or if you love Halloween and want to do like a tote, this would make a great tote bag, or even a project bag. Like this whole thing plus maybe like a little border could be a project bag for your Halloween stitching. So lots of possibilities for this. I had a lot of fun creating the fonts. So yes, the font down here, it's all back stitched and long stitched. And so yeah, I was just inspired by thinking about, you know, black cats should be more loved than they are. They are lucky cats, not unlucky. They are lucky. And so this design kind of started with just the idea of Black Cat Appreciation Society. I had the name in my head for a long time, and I've spent years kind of fiddling with it before I got it to this end result that I'm happy with. So there were various iterations I was not happy with, and it took me kind of starting over again and again to get it right. But I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I think it's adorable. So this is stitched on 32 count bungalow linen from Forbidden Fiber. All the floss here is Gentle Art in this design, and then in the other design it's Gentle Art and DMC. I do not have the floss in stock at this time, but I do have the fabric. So if you need to grab some of this fabric, I have it in some different bases and counts on my website. And I have the pattern as well in print or PDF format. And you can also order the pattern from your favorite needlework shop, local or online. So yes, this was super fun to design, and I love how it turned out. And then let's see the other Halloween design. So this one is called Jack-o'-lantern Seeds. And my idea is that you would have the ability to buy magic jack-o'-lantern seeds, and instead of planting pumpkins, you plant jack-o'-lanterns instead. And so the fun of it is that you never know what their faces are going to look like until they grow and ripen, which I think would be like the best thing ever. If you could really do that, I would love it. But so I designed like a seed packet of jack-o'-lantern seeds, what I imagined that would look like. And this was super fun also to design. I love how cute the jack-o'-lantern turned out, plus his little friends at the top. And then there's just some like magic smoke coming out of a wand here with pumpkin seeds and sparkles. Because, well, magic is involved in magic jack-o'-lantern seeds. So this is like some special Halloween gardening that I dreamed up because I wish it existed. And that's the fun of being a designer, is that you can make things up that you wish were real. So that would be my dream. No carving required. Don't have to worry about any knives. They come ready. It's like a blind box. Have you heard of those blind boxes where you maybe get a figurine and you know, like, oh, it's a Hello Kitty, but you don't know what Hello Kitty it is? That's what I imagine this would be like. It's like a blind box of jack-o'-lantern seeds. You don't know what the faces are going to be, but they would be cute because I only do cute and slightly spooky, so there'd be nothing too creepy here. So obviously this was finished as a framed piece, but there's so many ways you could finish this that I think would be great. You could finish it as sort of like a feed sack kind of thing, have an opening, and maybe put some floral things in it, like some bittersweet or whatever you'd want to put inside, some dried flowers or some fake flowers. Fall colors would be great. Could be a pillow, be a nice pillow also. So lots of possibilities for finishes, and I hope that you'll love stitching this one as well. This is stitched on also forbidden fiber. This is 32 count mocha swirl linen. And again, I don't have the floss, but I do have some of the fabric in my shop and some different options for the base and count. So you can check that out. It's luminousfiberarts.com. So I hope you'll head over to, pause the video, head over to luminousfiberarts.com, pre-order the Gathering Holly Mystery Stitch Along and any supplies you need for that. Grab your Black Cat Appreciation Society pattern and supplies and your jack-o'-lantern seeds pattern and supplies, and then come back and we will talk about what else I've been up to. So one of my dreams, I guess, maybe it's not a dream, it's a goal. I wasn't dreaming of it exactly, it was just a wish. I wanted to have all of my designs, whenever I'm doing a conversion after I finish a design, I'm like, man, I wish I just had like a table with all of the conversions I've ever done conveniently in one place. Because if I've already done that floss before that conversion, I don't necessarily need to look it up again or do it again from scratch. Like I already have that somewhere, but I never had a database. And I thought, well, it'd be nice if I could get someone else to do it for me, but I don't know who that would be. So I did it for me this summer. It was one of my I guess, business bucket list projects, and I did it. So I've got, I'm not sure exactly how many patterns now. I think I'm around 90. So I went through all of them and put them in a spreadsheet. And so it's just the cotton flosses and any conversions for the designs that I've done in Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, and Gentle Art. So it obviously doesn't cover like every color in the world or every dyer in the world. It's just what I have used in my designs, but there's a lot of floss in there. And so I made like multiple columns so that sometimes I've used different DMC equivalents depending on the design, because sometimes the flosses look a little bit different. The overdye flosses look a little different, or something might fit a little better with one design than the other. And I decided that I posted about it on Instagram and asked people if they would be interested in having access to that document, and lots of people were like, yes, please. So I did send that out to my newsletter subscribers. That's one reason to sign up for my newsletter if you haven't signed up yet, because newsletter subscribers get first access to things, previews, goodies. So if you're not yet a newsletter subscriber, please consider heading to my website, or you can check the link in the description below the video. Sign up for my newsletter so that when something special like that comes out, you'll be the first to know. But you don't have to be a newsletter subscriber. I will share it with you whether or not you subscribe to my newsletter. You're just getting a little bit later. So I will put the link to access the document. It is in Google Docs as a spreadsheet. And the reason I did that is so that I can keep updating it. And then if you want to check it again, you can see what's new. Whereas if I just did like a PDF or something for you, it's a one and done thing. But this way I can keep updating it, and then you'll have access to new colors as I use them. So you can, if you don't have a Google account, you should still be able to access it. You can bookmark the page. You can add it to your own Google Docs if you have Google. However you want to do it is fine, but you can download it there and print it out or save the file. Just be aware that, you know, I will update it, so you may want to bookmark it as well in your favorites tab or something. But again, the link is in the video description, and I hope that you will find the Floss conversion table to be helpful when you might want to make some changes. It'll give you some guidance, and yeah, I hope that you'll find it really useful and save you some time as well when you're stitching and you want to change things up. So I don't know if this is shocking or not, but I actually have one whip to talk about, one cross-stitch whip. Don't do a lot of stitching these days, but I do some. So I've been working on this for a while. Songs of the Season. I've stitched this one and this one. This one has gone missing. It's AWOL, and I hope I find it one day, because I did actually finish into a pillow, but who knows where it is. There's no evidence anywhere that it exists, but I do remember stitching it, and I do have a photocopy of the page that this is on where I marked off some things. So I know I stitched it, and I'm not just dreaming, but I don't know where it is. Anyway, I like tiny things. This is stitched over 1. I think it's 25 count Lugana. I'm not remembering for sure. It could be 28. It's Vintage Country Mocha. And so I'm just finishing them all as small pillows with no trim at the moment. And then they have pillow ticking kind of fabric on the back. So plain and simple and cute. So you can see I'm making pretty good progress here. And I accidentally stitched bows in the darker red. I actually kind of like that accident. It's because that's what happens when you don't stitch something for a while and then you don't really pay attention to which shade of red you're using. So bows is a little bit darker, but I actually think that's kind of fun. So I'm happy with the accident. This is coming along great. So will it be done in time for this Christmas? I don't know. But I'm not too worried. I'm just plugging along as I feel like it, and you know, with my readers on for sure, because this is pretty small. But if you've not tried stitching over 1, give it a try, because it's really fun. I don't know, I just really enjoy it. There's something about tiny things that I just love. So give it a shot. Just have good magnification and good lighting. See how it goes. You could always do 25 count, which is I think more doable, or 28. But yeah, super cute. So I'm just using most of the DMCs that are called for, but I did make a couple of changes to suit myself. Some of the reds, I think. I don't remember if I changed any of the greens. My little list is not handy. It's in the bag with the project stuff, the supplies. So I don't remember off the top of my head, but I changed a couple colors. You're allowed to change colors. Yes, the Prairie Schooler colors are very nice, but you're allowed to change them if you want to. Or keep them the same. Both work. So the last thing I wanted to mention is that in June, the end of June, I went to a weaving conference in Lancaster, Pennsylvania called MAFA, which is the Mid-Atlantic Fiber Arts Association conference. It happens every other year. And there was a class I really wanted to take on weaving with hand-dyed yarn, and it was awesome. So I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. It was not easy. Every morning she would like sit us down and like talk us through a bit of what we were going to do that day. And I gotta tell you, my brain was like exploding. Like, I don't understand. And then we would sit down at the loom and do the thing. And I was like, okay, I'm getting this. But like somehow just listening to it explained, my brain was breaking. It couldn't comprehend. And I had to get like M&Ms to try to like power up my brain. Peanut M&Ms were my energy, my fuel. But I have a weaving project on the loom. I've not finished it. I need to get back to it. I want to show you some photos. It was very interesting and kind of a complex process where you're designing at the loom rather than planning your project out in advance that much. I mean, you know how many threads you're going to use, but you don't know what order the colors are going to go in and how large the stripes are going to be. You just kind of decide as you're sitting down. And so I have a lot of notes and photos about that process and some handouts. And I thought it was really interesting. I think I'm more of a plan ahead kind of person. So it was a different way of working, and I don't know if in the long run I will continue to design at the loom or if I would rather just decide in advance where my stripes are going to be and how wide they're going to be. But it was still super cool to learn that technique. The other people in the class were so nice. I just met some lovely, lovely people. The teacher was wonderful. My hotel was great. I got there, oh my gosh, the day I got there, it was 97 degrees. Yeah. Who knows what the real feel was, but it was 97 on the car, and I needed to drop off the loom and get it into the classroom before a storm was coming. So I left early that day because storms were brewing. And then I went around Lancaster and did some fun things. I went antique shopping and got some cool stuff, and that was really fun. I ate at one of my favorite restaurants and dropped off the loom. I had time to eat at another favorite restaurant a couple times, and just had a really good weekend, and I'm so glad that I went. They had an open studio night on Saturday, so it started Friday. Classes were Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I got there Thursday. So Saturday night, the last night that it was open, there was a studio tour, and you could go around to all the buildings and see what people were working on. So I looked through the catalog at the classes that I thought I might want to try in the future if I attend again, and went and checked those out, and it was really interesting to see what people were working on. In my class, pretty much all of us had gotten to the point where we were weaving, but in some of the other classes, people were still kind of doing some setups, so they didn't have anything woven yet, or they were just starting to weave. But there were some things that I noticed were like really cool, and I was able to bring my floor loom. It fit in my car, thank goodness. I was very worried. We did a practice run just to make sure everything would fit okay, and it did. But yeah, so it was a good time, and I really enjoyed it and learned a lot. And I've got some more hand-dyed yarn to work with, which should be fun. I would like to do some towels, maybe just kind of all one warp, one color, not necessarily one color, it's multicolored because it's hand-dyed, but just one warp rather than multiple warps. So I was working with 4 different warps rather than just one. But I think it'd be fun to do just one and then weave it in some structure like twill or something. We'll see. But that's what I did. It was awesome. Everything is going fine. I'm back to teaching. This is beginning of the fall semester. I am teaching Spanish 2, which I haven't taught in a while. So usually I teach 3, or I have taught 3 pretty often. And that's going well. Yeah, just keeping real busy and doing my painting and enjoying that. So it's been good, and I'm squeezing in some stitching where I can and thinking about what craft projects I want to do this fall. So I'll wrap up with a little tour of my Halloween decorations, and I hope you'll stick around and see what I've got put out and on display. I've got one less display area this year than I did last year, but I still managed to cram, as you can see, quite a bit on my shelves. So I hope you'll enjoy the tour. Thank you so much for watching and spending time with me today. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and happy stitching.